alternative, happy holidays. Hope you're doing well. I'm excited to share my top 10 EPs of 2022 with you. I just recently shared my top 10 albums of the year. I don't think I mentioned it in that video, but I listened to just over 230 albums this year. But EPs cannot be ignored. I listened to about 50, not even 50 EPs this year for my count. So 230 albums compared to not even 50 EPs. That's the ratio for you there. But I love me a good EP. I'd rather have a great set of 6 songs than an album of 12 songs with only half of those being all that good. That's what an EP is all about. You don't have an album's worth of material. Take what you've got. You want to get it out there. I'm happy to take it in smaller doses. And we had some really strong EPs this year. I do have some honorable mentions here that I wanted to share with you. In the order of their release date, we have Charlotte Sands' Love and Other Lies, my first EP, my first release with Charlotte Sands this year. If you have not heard of Charlotte Sands, I'm surprised because she's definitely been making some waves in the pop rock scene. I didn't find the most depth to this music, but a song like the single Keep Me Up All Night and I Want You Like That, the opener, I'd say those are the strongest showings of her pretty powerful sound. Hey Angel by Jackie. This is a group that I would be surprised if you have heard of. Jackie, I believe they're Canadian. This is my second release with them, and it's a great showing of this mature alternative rock sound. Female-led, really nice stuff. We got the latest EP from Half Alive, Give Me Your Shoulders Part 1. Now, this was released early year. They were supposed to make a Part 2 to this, but they just recently scrapped that idea and put out a full-length album. This whole EP is on that full-length album. I'm not a big fan of that decision. First off, this EP, from what I've listened to on the album, this is the best of it. And I'm not loving a lot of the newer stuff on the album, though I need to spend some more time with it. But this EP has some of their best stuff on it that I've heard yet. The single Summerland was a big one for me last year. What's Wrong was great. Hot Tea made my top 100 last year. And all around a really strong set here on this EP from Half Alive. Now, I caught onto the band Swim Deep this year. Familiarize Yourself with Your Closest Exit. 5-song EP, all featuring different artists. It would have been Hatchie, who I do follow, that the feature with her. She has 2 features on here, is what brought them onto my radar. It's soft sung, kind of hazy, very light and sweet alternative pop. The songs World's Unluckiest Guy and Big Green Apple are the 2 standouts for me. World's Unluckiest Guy, notably, I'll have a bit more to say about that in a future video. That song left a big mark on me this year. On the punk side of things, Be Well, Hello Sun. I don't usually get too crazy about punk rock, but this band is very emotional. Lots of angst within their songs. I'll leave you with this. Hello Sun. In the Shadow of Who You Thought I Was. I believe the opener, Treadless. Some really good stuff. Got that punk energy, little brash at times for my tastes, but the emotion they pack into these songs and the melodic reward is there and really impressive. Now, Amber Run, The Start, Act 2. Only 4 songs on this. That's the bare minimum I'm gonna allow to have you be considered as even an honorable mention for an EP. I prefer my EPs with a nice solid 6 songs, at least 5, but 4, that'll have to do with Amber Run because these guys, they really get me, man. I love this band and just some good old alternative rock music. A real sophistication about their music and a somberness within these songs as well. Half Alive is on my top 100 this year. Check it out. And finally, for the honorable mentions, Hazel English, Summer Nights. Now, Hazel English, if you have not heard of her, I highly recommend. She is in the kind of dream pop category, indie pop, I guess you could say. I believe she's from California. If you know of Daywave and you're a fan of Daywave, then I'm surprised you haven't heard of Hazel English because they go hand in hand. She's the female equivalent of Daywave in my mind. She even features Daywave on one of these songs, and she just has an amazingly sweet sound. I find this EP, it's funny, it starts off the best, and it just slowly gets, from song to song, a little less interesting for me. But starting at the top, 9 Stories is, showing off some of the best of her sound. Okay, let's get into the top 10 EPs of my year. Titus Bank, Hopeless and Romantic. This is a 20-something artist out of Vancouver, BC, my home city. Just give any song of his a listen and you'll see what has drawn me into him? I mean, he has such an incredible voice. He's got the voice for this, and he's, still a struggling artist, but I see so much promise in him, and I would love to be able to give him any support that I can. But I'm not being biased towards a fellow Vancouverite when I say that this is one of the best EPs I've heard this year. At his core, Titus Bank is an alternative pop artist. These songs, they have their catch. But he's soulful as well. There's a real smoothness about these songs and some real tender emotion, man. Hide Me Like You Do, notably very sweet, very touching, but The Way You Love, I Give My All, those are showings of his slower side, but some of my favorites from him. I Do Yeah, that's a bop if you're looking for like the big single radio bad lovin'. Yeah, those are a bit more upbeat. And the closing track, Waves Break, you cannot forget about this song. It was the only one from the EP that was not released as a single ahead of the EP's release. And man, just going back to it right now to get a bit of a refresher, it really is quite breathtaking. For a song that was held back from being given that single status, it stands up just as tall, if not taller, than most of the rest of these. Gorgeous stuff from Titus Bank. Do me a favor and go show this guy some love. He really deserves it. William Ryan Key, Everything Except Desire. Does that name ring a bell? William Ryan Key? He used to go by just Ryan Key when he was the lead singer of Yellow Card. If you would have asked my 17-year-old self what I thought the lead singer from Yellow Card would be doing in 2022, I would never guessed it would be something like this. I was really disappointed to see Yellow Card come to an end after 2016's self-titled album, but to be honest, I wasn't even too crazy about the direction they were taking things in the 2010s. Paper Walls, Ocean Avenue, Lights and Sounds, most notably. That was Yellow Card in their prime. And yeah, we've been without them for a long time now, but to have the lead singer, William Ryan Key, taking on his full name, doing some solo stuff here under Equal Vision Records. They took him on for this EP, and what a lovely showing here. This is far from the music we got with Yellow Card. It's very atmospheric, key-driven synths. As a guy who doesn't listen to much Radiohead, I feel like, is there some Radiohead influence here, maybe? I was blown away when I first heard the single Face in a Frame. The way it builds up throughout the song is quite mesmerizing and kind of haunting as well. And also, fellow single Brighton is just a stunner. Really moody stuff, again, atmospheric and slow burning stuff you can just melt right into. It's just so exciting to hear this type of music coming from an artist I admired so much all that time ago. And I know he did release an EP, Virtue, in 2018. I listened to that back then, but it did not leave the same mark on me as this one here. That EP was more just like acoustic and orchestral stuff, whereas this is much more out there. Yep, Knuckle Puck, Disposable Life, they really crushed it with these 5 songs here. Just really great showings of why they are such a noteworthy band in the pop punk scene. And I was happy to find a new absolute staple from them with Lonely Island. That song has done a number on me this year. Oh, just one of their most infectious choruses yet. And it's my number 30 song of 2022. Yeah, Royal and the Serpent, Happiness is an Inside Job. This is my first year with Royal and the Serpent. Caught on to her when she was featured on the Stand Atlantic song, I think, Pity Party. She was also featured on a Demi Lovato song this year. And according to Spotify here, it looks like she's doing rather well. After discovering her with the Stand Atlantic song, I checked out her early year EP, If I Died, Would Anyone Care? I remember not enjoying that stuff. She's got a voice that does not suit everyone's tastes, I'm sure. And yeah, that voice really grated on me on that EP. I didn't find the songs to be all that good at all, but kept an eye on her, and thankfully I did, because this EP here is a great time. One thing of note, she made 5 music videos, a music video for each of these songs. Looks like they were all filmed in one day in the same setting, the same studio. And it's a really, really well done video shoot from one to the next, single after another. Very admirable what she did there. And each one of these songs has something to it, but it's Death of Me and Love Abuser Save Me that are two of the best songs I've heard this year. Death of Me absolutely blew me out of the water when I first got into it. Was my #1 song of, I believe, September. And then Love Abuser comes along and a bit more of this, you know, rock energy to it, where Death of Me really dug into, I would say, some gritty emo energy. But Love Abuser, yeah, more of a straight up rock song, which I generally wouldn't care much for, but she knocks it out of the park, man. And it's gone to surpass Death of Me as my favorite from her. Both of them on my top 100. And yeah, she's definitely convinced me to keep her close after this EP. Yes, Sundara Karma Oblivion. I believe that's how you'd pronounce the name, Sundara. I never say it out loud. It's funny when I finally say this name out loud to you. Sundara Karma. Whatever the case, this band from the UK, they have such a grandiose rock energy to them. And this EP is a fabulous showing of what they have to offer. Lots of synth textures. I find there's a real warmth to these anthemic songs that just lift right off the page, man. They are so vibrant. Just from the artwork of this EP itself. That's the lead singer right there, and he has like a neck tattoo. Like, are you kidding me? It's pretty cool. And I love the just over-polished look of it all. And it's kind of what you can expect with these songs. They are very polished. It's a very glamorous, big alt-rock sound and some real power within these songs. Each one of them has something special about it. But I'd say the most power of them all comes from the closer, Godsend, the biggest showing of their emotionally epic side with just that real fist clenching power to it. Love these guys and really hope we get some more from them soon. Yours truly, Is This What I Look Like? This Australian pop punk group led by the amazingly talented Michaela Delgado. Her vocals are just phenomenal. They're really just continuing to climb the ranks of being one of the absolute must-hear bands in pop punk right now. This whole EP gives it all from one song to the next. Lots of energy, lots of dark energy. They're aggressive, they're catchy, they're angry, very sharp, very punchy, all the qualities that I'm looking for, and they nail it. And it's all capped off with one of my favorite songs of the year in Lights On, made my top 100. Definitely up there as one of their best. Now here's a more underground name that you probably haven't heard of, Kulik. Everyone I Know Will Die. Kulik, I caught on to a few years ago. His song Colors is just, how do I put this? One of the most brilliant songs I've ever heard. It just pulls off this absolutely epic drop, unlike most songs I know. Yeah, that song really left a mark on me back then, and I've been keeping an eye on him ever since, and now we have his latest EP, and it's just such a great showing of this energetic pop rock with sensitive, thoughtful lyrics, good for, you know, your 20-something, 30-something, anyone who can relate to the struggles in life. I feel like he does a great job at communicating with the listener and feeling relatable while just delivering some really fun, catchy songs. Necessities has this incredible sing-along pull. He's got a great fast-lipped delivery to that song. The lyrics really come flying at you, and I love that about it. You can say the same about Time to Go, another really quick-paced track that's just a hell of a lot of fun to sing along to. And the song For Once in My Life, that one along with Necessities, both in my top 50 of the year. While Necessities has this great fast-paced running pull to it as well, I'd say great running energy. For Once in My Life hits on more of the emotional side with a very epic chorus to it that really comes through on its final round. Both those songs, yeah, they just were sticking close to me all year. And this whole EP, just a really great time. And he's another artist on this top 10 that really deserves a lot more attention. I really want to see a big label, a good label, catch on to him. And I would love for you to go see what he has to offer. Now into my top 3, kicks off with the most out there artist of this group of top 10. I usually focus on more pop rock oriented stuff. This is far from it. Gordy with Inhuman. Gordy is an Australian singer-songwriter. She's got this husky voice, a very somber tone, very weighted delivery. It's slow music here, but she really got to me with just these very emotional melodies. And I say emotional melodies as if it's not the lyrics that contain that emotion. And yeah, she definitely carries some real weight in her lyrics, but I need to feel that melody with it. And she pulls off just these wonderful moods throughout here. And I think at the end of it all, it's not really the lyrics that I'm focusing on. It is the mood within those melodies, and the lyrics are always just the cherry on top for me. An artist like this, these singer-songwriters, I tend to struggle with. I can't quite get behind their energy, I guess. But for some slower stuff like this, there's just a wonderful amount of emotion to it that captivates me. And none more so than the song Way I Go. That's another song that is on my top 50 of the year. And this is one I would definitely say the lyrics do play a big role for me. It's an incredible sing-along, and the lyrics, it's a love song, but damn, does it ever hold a lot of, again, that weight to it that really feels sad, but just beautiful. And at the end of it all, you're the way I go. It's a love song, and it really takes my breath away. So yeah, even if you're like me, not too crazy about this more indie singer-songwriter stuff, I really recommend you give Gordy a try. Moving back into the more rock-oriented side of things with Telltale Lie Your Way Out. It's my first EP with this American band. They're very emotional, very rock-heavy, pop rock. This here is a perfect EP. Each one of these 5 songs hit me so hard back when I got into this in the spring. There's just so much put into these songs within just how much aggression they deliver. They hit very hard, and the catches, the hooks come through so good. 4 of these songs were released as singles leading up to the EP, with Pessimist being left out. And when I got into the EP after loving all those singles, Pessimist stood above them all, and it has been with me more than most songs this year. I'm so happy to see here on the streams on Spotify that it has the second most next to the title track, Lie Your Way Out, which is my other favorite off of this EP. Both those songs really stuck with me this year. I will be having a bit more to say about Pessimist in my next video. I'm going to be doing my top 10 songs of the year, and I'll just say it right now, that song is a top 10. But yeah, this EP, oh, just so much fun and anguished and angsty, all that kind of stuff. I love they're delivering the feels here. There's some pain in these songs, and I'm all about that, man. Brilliant job, Telltale, and I really hope you guys keep it up. Another band that, they're on a label, Rude Records, that's okay, but they still need to get some more attention, and I would just hate to see a band like this throw in the towel because they just couldn't afford to keep it up. They've done a lot for me this year, and yeah, I hope they can continue to make a mark on me in the future. Yes, my number 1 EP of the year, Have Mercy, their self-titled EP. Now this band, this is such a big deal, this release, because they called it quits. After their 2019 album, The Love Life, they broke up. They were no more. I did not think Have Mercy was coming back. I was pretty disappointed because they showed off a really great emotional rock sound. I loved Heartbeat off The Love Life, even though this whole album, it didn't leave the biggest mark on me. I Look at These Streets, I loved that song, but I would need to spend some more time with the rest of them. And then I go back to their 2017 album, which had the song, again, another album that I look at, I'm like, I don't know, I would need to go over most of these, but Ghost is just honestly like one of the greatest songs I've ever heard. Incredible track. So this band has, and then A Place of Our Own 2014 as well, when I first caught on to them. Again, this has been the story with them album after album. I just need to familiarize myself or refresh my memory on these songs. But Howl was another really big deal for me. So yeah, them calling it quits was quite the disappointment. So to have them come back here, it was just shocking, and I didn't know just how much goodness I was in for. They came back with the song I'm Gonna Be Okay. I remember hearing that in the summer, and I didn't appreciate it enough, because that song there, it is another one on my top 10 of the year, and it's delivered some of the most intense listening of my year. And then they followed it up with this EP. Every one of these songs is special. They really are all just so good. There is such a heartwarming presence to their music. It's hard for me to quite pin exactly what I love about it so much, but these songs are just full of that emotion and that rock energy, while holding a real maturity to them as well. And yeah, at the end of it all, it was no question really what my #1 EP of the year was. It really is just some of their best stuff yet, and I'm absolutely thrilled to have them back in my life here in 2022. Not exactly sure what they've got planned for the future, but they've got all of my attention, and I'm hoping that this is just the start of a new chapter for the band. Okay, let's wrap it up. I feel like I talk way too much about these EPs. I can't help myself, but I'm assuming that if you're watching this outro that you did not watch through everything I just had to say there. It's hard for me to keep things quick, I guess, when it comes to talking about this stuff. But I do value your time. Thank you so much for checking this out. I'd love a thumbs up if you like what you saw. Hit the subscribe for more alternative content, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know what your favorite releases this year were, what your favorite EPs were, and what you thought of mine. Love to chat. I'll see you next time.